For those of you that love talking about animals, from Sci News. New pterosaur species, well preserved eggs found in China. Paleontologists have discovered remains of about 40 male and female individuals of a new pterosaur species with five exceptionally well preserved 3D eggs in the early Cretaceous deposit in northwestern China. The discovery reveals that the pterosaurs lived together in gregarious colonies. And now, from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to Creature Guide Live Prehistoric News, and let's dive right back into the prehistoric news of the day. Now, it mentions that they found 40 male and female pterosaurs. It's really hard to distinguish from not having any tissue of these distinct animals indicating whether they're male or female, to distinguish whether or not they are from just the skeletons. So I don't know how they're coming up with this theory. Anyway, who do we have here? I think this is a member of Pterodactyloideae, which is a large lineage of pterosaurs.
What does that animal look like? It's saying cheese.
Uh,
Even its eyes looking into the camera. It's like, ah,
yeah, it's more of clams. Anyway, now
clams. That was funny.
you might have had actually. It's very possible that certain species of pterosaurs were feeding on different types of mollusks and crustaceans during the Mesozoic era. I don't know who supposedly might be flying on top. I guess it's a very dense population of smaller pterosaurs, or
Looks like bats.
bats haven't evolved yet. They wouldn't evolve until the Eocene epoch, so around 50 million years ago. So, but yes, they do look like bats. I kind of wonder if somebody stuck in a picture of bats and just put it for the sky, depicting them as either pterosaurs or early birds. However, we don't know how old this is. I'm going to guess, however, this is. Oh, wait, this is early Cretaceous. It's possible they could be birds, but don't think birds would be this um, high or just dense in population at this point. So maybe smaller pterosaurs. Anyway, let's keep going. Life restoration of Hempteris tianshanensis. The, the pterosaur fossil is generally poor, with little information about their populations of fossil record. To date, only four isolated and flattened pterosaur eggs were known to the paleontological record or science. So this is an older article, but I'm actually quite astonished that um, only four pterosaurs had been found at this point, and then all of a sudden, supposedly, they found 40. So this is quite astonishing. Discovered in 2005 in the Turpin Hamai Basin, northwestern China, the new pterosaur fossil-rich site harbors thousands of bones, including male and female skulls and the first three-dimensional eggs. Now, what is interesting is that we have found several different species of dinosaurs with preserved eggs. I believe we've even found certain species of crocodilomorphs with eggs. Not really when it comes to the marine reptiles, which is why the theory is part of why the theory is they gave live birth. But when looking at this is quite interesting. So this was back in 2005. So this is quite astonishing. It's rarely talked about pterosaur when it comes to pterosaur eggs. Usually, when eggs from the Mesozoic era are talked about, they tend to refer to certain species of small theropod dinosaurs like the oviraptorosaurs or species of duck-billed dinosaurs, the hadrosaurs. Oh, also something to mention is that this is likely a member of Pterodactyloideae. So when people state the name pterodactyl, um, it can be somewhat specific because not all, well, technically, when you're talking about pterodactyl, like a specific pterosaur, there is only one specific genus, and technically it's Pterodactylus. And it lived in the Jurassic of Germany somewhere around 160 million years ago. So this is far after the individual. Pterodactylus was only about 2 feet when referring to the wingspan, probably weighed couple of ounces. It was very lightweight due to the bones being hollow and very porous. And um,
I know, it's I swear when I was young, the way they portrayed it was huge.
well, they also tend to refer to pteranodon. This is the animal that most people think of when they hear the word pterodactyl. Now, here is something you are partially correct when you use the term pterodactyl for a wide range of pterosaurs. There's a large family group called the Pterodactyloideae, which first evolved somewhere around 152 million years ago, towards the very end of the Jurassic, and they would flourish up until the mass extinction of the dinosaurs around 66 million years ago and themselves. But Pteranodon could reach a wingspan of around 20 feet and probably weighed somewhere around um, 80 to 130 pounds. Now, this animal was also toothless.
Wait, Ethan, who weighed like 200 pounds
Well,
or 300?
um, there were actually a few pterosaurs that reached much larger. I was underestimating Quetzalcoatlus, even the larger species, at one point. So, Quetzalcoatlus being the pterosaur with the longest wingspan and the tallest height, especially the longer species, I believe that's Nephropi, could reach a wingspan of around 40 feet and reach about 18 feet in height and probably weigh somewhere between 350 and 500 pounds. And despite these animals having hollow bones, they were quite robust. So, yes, the larger pterosaurs could kill you and eat you. It would be, for most, it would be, though, a bit of a I'd say a bit of a challenge, but with that much weight behind it, even with the individuals whose beaks aren't really designed for pecking and killing things, it really wouldn't take much for, a soft-bodied creature. So, um, let's see. Now back to Pteranodon. I still think this animal could kill you as well, be much more challenging, but it was most likely just feeding on different species of fish, and it lived in different parts of Kansas, Nebraska, probably all over North America, somewhere around 80 million years ago. So this is back when the Western Interior Sea cut North America in half. And during this time, this was shortly before different species of mid-sized tyrannosaur would appear in North America, and it's possible it might have scavenged from dinosaurs, was likely just feeding on a wide range of fish. Oh, so I mentioned the Pterodactyloideae. So for short, you could use the term pterodactyl if we were trying to refer to some sort of pterosaur, because at least somewhere between 100 and 150 species of pterosaur belong to the Pterodactyloideae lineage. And then you have a number of other species that are members of the
Did you
Rhamphorhynchidae.
just say 100 to 150 species of these things?
Yes. Pteranodon itself, though, there are, I believe, a couple of different species of specifically Pteranodon, and then there's the Pteranodontidae family, but which consists of at least like 8 to 20 different species. But the pterodactyls, in quote, consists of animals like Pteranodon, the kind of like somewhat spoon crested shaped ornithochirids, as well as the Asdarchid pterosaurs like Quetzalcoatlus. And then the Rhamphorhynchids were another lineage. So the pterodactylids, okay, I already mentioned their time span. The Rhamphorhynchids would first evolve around 220 million years ago and go extinct at around, I believe, 100 million years ago towards the mid Cretaceous. Anyway, let's head back. Let's see. Sediments in the area suggest that the colony died in a large storm in the early Cretaceous period about 120 million years ago. Hmm. Wonder how they would have been quickly buried. I'm guessing maybe somehow a tsunami must have um, helped bury them, but I don't know. That doesn't sound right. Um, Okay, let's see. Dr. Wang's team decided that the fossils belonged to a previously unknown genus and species of pterosaur, Hemipteris tianensis. The generic name Hemipteris is a combination of a reference to the region where the specimens were found and the Greek word pteros, meaning wing. The specific name Tianshanensis refers to the Tian Shan Mountains in Xinjiang, China, which I'm guessing is where this pterosaur was discovered. Let's see. The paleontologists also examined the well preserved pterosaur eggs to find that they were pliable, with a thin, calcareous eggshell outside and a soft, thick membrane inside, similar to the eggs of some modern day snakes. Huh, I didn't know that. That's quite interesting. And the snakes and dinosaurs, pterosaurs, technically, the pterosaurs are a sister group to the dinosaur lineage of archosaurs. So they both the pterosaurs and the dinosaurs did derive from the same common ancestor. Same thing for the crocodilomorphs. So wow, it is very much intact. There's even a bone on the side. Their analysis of 40 pterosaur individuals suggests differences between the sexes in the size, shape, and robustness of their head crests. The combination of many pterosaurs and eggs strongly indicates the presence of a nesting site nearby and indicates that this species developed gregarious behavior. So, yeah, there must have been a massive colony of pterosaurs. It's also a big debate as to whether or not these animals might have been somewhat monogamous, like what you see in different seashore birds of today, like albatross, penguins, but probably not best to compare this with a penguin, considering penguins don't necessarily make it to an extent they can, but they're not known for making nests. This even includes like the little penguin. The little penguins make burrows too. So far, we don't have any evidence for pterosaurs making burrows. Not to say that they didn't. Um, but let's see. Oh, well, let's take a look at somebody else. So this is Mamenchosaurus, which is a member of the Mamenchosaurid lineage of sauropod dinosaurs. It was first discovered back in the late 1800s, and this animal lived in China around 100 and what was it? Say around 149 million years ago. Now, there have been several species of Mamenchosaurs that have been discovered, but this is Concrotus, which could reach a length of over 85 feet and probably weigh somewhere between 13 to 20 tons. So it was quite lightweight for the length, more than many species of Diplodocid.
That's what I thought when you said the weight of it for how large it is.
Um, Also, when it comes to these pterosaurs in the center here, these are members of the Rhamphorhynchid family. So they had been around since the late Triassic, and they would mysteriously go extinct during the mid Cretaceous period. So Mamenchosaurids, they were probably feeding on somewhere around at least 800 to 1100 pounds of food each day in order to sustain their bodies. And you have to remember that these animals are warm blooded. So they're going to be consistently burning um, an immense amount of fuel. And it's despite it not even being cold, they're still going to be using up a lot of energy and they're constantly migrating. You can't have it where a group of 15 to 20 individuals are focusing on a certain area and not consistently moving. They will just simply overbrowse the area and the plants would not be able to recover. Now, that's also not including the other dinosaurs or herbivores that they coexisted with. So let's keep going. Let's see. Hemipterus tenaciensis most likely buried their eggs in sand along the shore of an ancient lake to prevent them from drying out. While the new fossils shed light on the reproductive strategy, development, and behavior of pterosaurs, there's still plenty left to learn about them. Yeah, there's definitely been a lot going on with the overall body structure, especially when it comes to the bone density of different species of pterosaurs. Both animals like Pteranodon, Rhamphorhynchus, Quetzalcoatlus, and as well as when it comes to the parental and reproductive behavior as well. So, taking a look at another dinosaur from the late Jurassic of China. Oh, by the way, Mamenchosaurus, if I didn't mention, also lived in China. This is Sinraptor. It's very possible that close relatives of Synraptor would have preyed on younger species or younger individuals of Mamenchosaurus. But Synraptor existed around 160 million years ago in China and is a member of the Metracanthosaur lineage of theropods, which is also a member of the Carnosaur lineage. So it's more closely related to theropods like Allosaurus, Ceratosaurus, than it is, or even the Spinosaurus, than it is animals like Velociraptor and T Rex. So this individual could reach over. They used to, or let me phrase that. We used to assume that this individual was somewhere around 18 to 20 feet. Now it looks like it could be pushing over 30 feet in length and probably weigh around 2 tons. So it is interesting. You could say to a certain angle, it has a bit of a early Tyrannosaur sort of look, maybe even mixed with certain Carcharodontosaur species. But this is a Metracanthosaurus skull, and which also means it's close related to Metracanthosaurus. They didn't have the lightest skulls, but they also didn't necessarily have very heavily built skulls either. So you could say compared to other carnosaurs like Allosaurus, they had a much more heavily built skull. But compared to certain species of a belly sore carnosaur, they were much weaker. But for the late Jurassic, there weren't many armored dinosaurs that you had to deal with. There were some of the earliest ankylosaurs and ceratopsians that had evolved. They wouldn't have made much of the menu for something as large as Synraptor. So, considering he has this robust of a jaw, and when you look at his teeth, they're very banana like or very thick. So, these aren't teeth that are necessarily great at slicing flesh. This is also something with what you see in many species of a belly sore and Coelurosaur as well. So what this animal is going to do is going up to a young sauropod, and once it bites down, it's not like a Allosaurus, which is going to immediately rip off a chunk of flesh. This animal is just going to hold on and keep just crushing deeper into the flesh, and hopefully even coming into contact with the bone of the sauropod. And however, despite its bone crushing ability, which many of those types of dinosaurs I'd say at least a handful. They tend to have binocular forward facing vision. Whereas when you look at this skull, despite the angle, Zinraptor seems to have a bit more of a peripheral sort of vision. So seeing more out to the side, which also another benefit is he can see behind him a lot better. Whereas a T Rex could be quite blind in that region. So, let me know what your favorite species of Chinese dinosaur is. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.